Your general opinion?
Asperger's is a bit like social dyslexia. It's a bit like if you're in a city where the traffic light system all of a sudden changes, so that the red means green and green means stop, and you have to calculate what you're interacting with people. If I was talking about something familiar that I know a lot about, I can talk to people and they wouldn't really be talking back to me. I could tell them things, and that gets rid of that kind of social dyslexia, because you're not then listening to people. It's not a social conversation. Then you don't have to look at their body language or know if they're not interested, and you don't have to do that. You just talk at people, then all of a sudden you're just kind of dominating conversation.
People with Asperger syndrome are quite unique. It includes people that have significant difficulties in social relationships. The way their brain is wired really doesn't give them the opportunity to connect the information that they see and that they've observed over the years so that they can be effective in having good social relationships. So they tend to be clumsy and awkward socially.
Up to a few years ago, I didn't realise people had emotions. It's not something I considered. It's not even something that I knew I should consider. It was like being blind to it. People just thought I was eccentric, you know, just that's Dave. It was a very kind of superficial type of world I interacted in. But when you think about it, the way chimpanzees are interacting in a group, they know when to offer help to others. If one chimp is injured, they probably give it a hug. Or if they put out their hand, they know waving around the hand gives them oranges now, or bananas, or whatever. See, a person with Asperger's lives on the physical level. If they can see, touch, measure, that's what's real to them. Whereas emotions are invisible, you cannot see them. So we don't consider that, or don't know that they're there to be considered.
David, can you tell us the kinds of problems that you've had, or the difficulties that you had that you'd like some support with?
Well, essentially the thing with Asperger's is it's difficult to make friends. You don't really feel familiarity for people. There's only a few people who have known very well, maybe over several years, you know, that they don't actually feel awkward in their presence.
Do you think that might have something to do with the difficulty that people with Asperger's have in predicting?
Yeah.
You know, kind of the need, you can't kind of read what's happening in the situation.
That's exactly it. That's the theory of mind. So what happens is you don't have a model that you can actually put in your mind to predict what joke would make a person laugh or they would find offensive. You don't really know what the person is like. So I don't actually create a conversation that allows me to get to know people, I think. I just find a person and totally just download all information that I'd researched into them, you know, to tell them facts about what I found out.
And did you assume they'd be interested?
Yes, absolutely. When I first came to Trinity College, I assumed that everybody's just going to be like me.
Are there any benefits? What's the positive sides of anything?
Well, I wouldn't be here without Asperger's because of my passion for minerals and science. That has brought me to Trinity to study geology, and it's something that I really enjoy. I stopped comparing myself to other people and trying to compete and simulate or try to be like other people. You know, I just accepted myself as being an Aspie. That's what we call ourselves, you know. So I just compared myself to other Aspies.
I saw there was an exhibition in Blackrock College earlier a year or two back, and that actually had a working light. They got a light from it.
A light?
Yeah, a light bulb from it. An actual light bulb from it, which they managed to get going again.
Yeah.
Even after all that time underwater, you know.
Amazing. You know, they have to.
I used to find it much more difficult until I got the diagnosis and then joined the group as well and come to terms with myself more, you know. But I need to develop a bit more socially.
The group was set up in 2002, May 2002. I emailed Aspire, and then I just got them to send around my email to any people who wanted to join or start a group with me.
I have a selection of friends that, you know, that I talk to, but I haven't talked to them in a while now. You know, it's been a while since I really kept in contact. But I mean, I know I can't really expect to be invited to every big social occasion, but I just think that if I do, it'd be nice.
That'd be one of the main objectives of the group, would be to try and develop social skills a bit better, you know, so hopefully we can put that into practice eventually.
Yeah.
I mean,
And conversational skills.
Yeah.
Not just talk about the Titanic all the time.
No, we'll talk about your mirror today. It's my go.
A lot of people with Asperger have been misdiagnosed as having obsessive-compulsive disorder. They certainly have the behaviors that fall under that category, more around collecting things or having a particular body of knowledge that would be excessive for someone at their age. Maybe a 10-year-old would know everything there was about the French Revolution, and you'd say, well, this is intellectual brilliance, but it's kind of isolated and not terribly appropriate or common for a child that age.
What I have my hand on here, it's a fault line. It's about 40 kilometres long. It begins from southern Tala, continues all the way to the Kings River. The actual fault zone itself is about 20 to 40 metres wide, and it's mineralised by iron and manganese. The brown colour that you see in the rock here is actually iron. Goethite is the name of the mineral. And there's also another mineral called hollandite and cryptomelaine. The rock itself was formed when the fault moved. Actually kind of moved in a way that actually pulled apart the two sides of the fault line. And as a result, the hot water came from below. It's about 200 kilometres. My areas of interest is my strength, which has not got to do with people. It's got to do with something that has regularity and predictability. I know exactly where every single mineral specimen or rock specimen I've ever collected is from, what it is. About 1,000 are on display around my house and my office. If you look at most things, they don't have a random shape, but a crystal, it looks like it's made by hand. So that's the fascination I have. It's just the beauty and the regularity of crystals. As a child with Asperger's, you know, crystals all of a sudden in a chaotic world gave me something that was like an anchor. Any kid that's different from other children, they get bullied. I literally, when I went to primary school, I remember after the summer holidays that I didn't want to talk to the other kids because I knew when I talked, I'd talk about astronomy. I didn't put the two together. I didn't know that when I talked astronomy that was causing bullying, so I was bullied nearly every day for years. One of the things that happened that probably insulated me from any negativity is that I had a primary school teacher in 5th and 6th class, and what he did was put me on a stage play as a space alien, which is what the bullies were calling me. They were calling me a space cadet, you know, space alien, star boy, star kid. I was into astronomy at the time. So what he did was put me on a Christmas stage play as a space alien. So instead of being something negative, I got people to laugh at me, being myself. If I hadn't been on that stage play, I wouldn't be a PhD student. I would have been, God knows, you know, I would have thought of myself as something horrible. I would have thought what the bullies were saying to me.
Well, the thing about me is it's very general. It's not.
You've got lots of different.
I'm probably the modest of the group. You know, I've got more than one particular interest. I probably am that. I'm not exaggerating now. Probably am. I like reading and watching the films like Killian does. You know.
I don't really think of myself as obsessional. Just bad at talking to people. You know, and trying to have a long and interesting conversation with them. Just making conversation, really.
I don't think I'm
that's where my drawback falls.
Yeah.
And that's where I'd like to excel.